Executive Officer, Malaysian Airlines System. Ladies and gentlemen, members of the media. To start off the press conference this evening, I hereby call upon Dr. Sri Hishamuddin Hussien, Acting Minister of Transport, to deliver his statement. Sir, if you please do us the honor.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, today the search for MH370 has been further refined. The international investigation team continue working to narrow the search area and shed further light on MH370's flight path. We are, as always, grateful for the continuing cooperation of our partners in this difficult and intensive search. Whilst search operations are ongoing, we continue to focus our efforts on caring for the families. In Cabinet this morning, we discussed the importance of continuing to support the relatives of the passengers and the crew. On Monday, the Prime Minister announced that based on new data analysis, Inmarsat and the AAIB had concluded that MH370 flew along the southern corridor and that its last position was in the middle of the Indian Ocean, west of Perth. On Tuesday, I confirmed that further study of this data will be undertaken to attempt to determine the final position of the aircraft. The Malaysian investigation team set up an international working group comprising of agencies with expertise in satellite communications and aircraft performance to take this work forward. The international working group included representatives from the UK, namely Inmarsat, AAIB, and Rolls-Royce. From China, namely CAAC and AAID, and from the US, namely NTSB, FAA, and Boeing, as well as the relevant Malaysian authorities. The group has been working to refine the Inmarsat data and to analyze it, together with other information, including radar data and aircraft performance assumptions, to narrow further the search area. Information which had already been examined by the investigation was re-examined in light of new evidence drawn from the Inmarsat data analysis. In addition, international partners who continue to process data in their home countries, as well as in the international working group, have further refined existing data. They have also come up with new technical information, for example, on aircraft performance. Yesterday, this process yielded new results, which indicated that MH370 flew at a higher speed than previously thought, which in turn means it used more fuel and could not travel as far. This information was passed to RCC Australia by the NTSB to help further refine and narrow the search area. The Australian authorities have indicated that they have shifted the search area approximately 1,100 kilometers to the northeast. Because of ocean drift, this new search area could still be consistent with the potential objects identified by various satellite images over the past week. This work is ongoing, and we can expect further refinements. As the Australian authorities indicated this morning, this is standard practice in a search operation. It is a process of continually refining data, which in turn further narrows the search area. With each step, we get closer to the understanding MH370's flight path. Searches must be conducted on the best information available at the time, and in the search for MH370, we have consistently followed the evidence and acted on credible leads. Our search and rescue efforts have been directed by verified and corroborated information, and this latest refinement of the search area is no different. Last night, Japanese authorities announced they had satellite images which showed a number of floating objects approximately 2,500 kilometers southwest of Perth. Early this morning, we received separate satellite imagery from the Thai authorities, which also showed potential objects. These new satellite images joined those released by Australia, by China, by France, and Malaysia, all of which are with RCC Australia. The range of potential objects and the difficulty in re-identifying them shows just how complex this investigation is. We remain grateful to all our partners for continuing to assist in the search operations. Ladies and gentlemen, the new search area, approximately 1,680 kilometers west of Perth, remains in the Australian area of responsibility. Australia continues to lead the search efforts in this new area, and the Australian Maritime Safety Authority gave a comprehensive operational update earlier today. As more information emerges, they will be issuing frequent operational updates, including on assets deployment. I would like to echo their statements that the new search area, although more focused than before, remains considerable, and that the search conditions, although easier than before, remain challenging. For the families of those on board, we pray that further processing of data and further progress in the search itself brings us closer to finding MH370. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for Q&A session, we will start from this side, please. Front. Yes, please. Thank you. Please, could you stand up? Memperkenalkan diri.
Assalamualaikum Datuk Seri, saya Syama daripada TV Al-Hijrah. Datuk Seri boleh bagi komen sikit tentang keluarga Cina nak minta Beijing untuk menubuhkan inquiry dan ataupun Jabatan Penyiasatan sendiri. Mungkin mereka beranggapan diorang tak percaya sangat, mungkin diorang tak percaya dengan kredibiliti Malaysia. Boleh Datuk Seri komen sikit?
Kita bekerjasama rapat dengan Beijing. Dan sebenarnya apa jua maklumat yang kita terima dan apa jua maklumat yang Beijing terima dikongsi bersama. Emosi tinggi kita memang memahami, tetapi pada masa yang sama usaha untuk mendekati keluarga seperti saya sebutkan dalam kenyataan saya awal tadi akan berterusan. Satu pasukan high level group yang sekarang berada di Beijing, saya menerima laporan daripada mereka dan saya percaya bahawa usaha untuk mendekati keluarga penumpang dan juga kru MH370 akan berterusan. Lebih-lebih lagi sekarang ini masih belum menjumpai apa jua objek atau debris yang boleh mengaitkan atau memastikan di mana pesawat itu berada.
Alright, it's yours.
Datuk Sri, I'm Hima from Capital TV.
Hi.
Yes. What is the credible lead that led to the new search area, and what are the complexity involved in identifying the objects as of now? Thank you.
The new search area was a research analysis and refinement done by the Boeing team in Seattle, Washington State, and they have looked at the records of the aircraft since aircraft took off, and from that particular record, they have come up with the speed of the aircraft higher than what they have done before. Therefore, the aircraft would not be as far as what we envisage to be, and is on the northern side of the areas of the satellite sightings of the objects. And these are very lot of work done by Boeing together with NTSB and our working team in Malaysia, and that's the reason why they point out to the areas they are searching today. And the complexity of the objects, if we find it, if the aircraft able to see the objects and able to be picked up by the ships, then it's easier for all of us. But unfortunately, the objects sighted by the satellite are unable to be verified by the aircraft and also by the ships that searching for them in those areas that be identified by the satellites. Thank you.
Okay. Tengah, second row, first one here. Thank you.
I'm Soraya from Bernama. MH370 is under code sharing agreement with China Southern Airlines. My question is, have they responded and claimed responsibility as well? And second question is, Airbus provided fund for Air France incident search mission. How about Boeing?
Okay, we obviously will be in discussion with China Southern, okay, on this because that flight is a code share, so that's still in discussion. As far as Air France, you mentioned what? I didn't get your second question. What was that?
Could you?
So far, Boeing has not provided any form of funding, but they are in full cooperation with the investigation team and ourselves as well in trying to find out what happened to MH370.
Okay. Third row. Nene, depan. Yes.
My question is pointed to CEO.
May I know, please, identify.
I'm from Guangming. Yes, pointed the questions to the CEO, Encik Ahmad Johari. Since that's 21 days, but how about the 21 days? And you say that there's a possibility of the the people is alive is so very very low. But how about the families' insurance compensations?
We are obviously talking to the various legal parties, all right, and also the families on this. So far, what we have been requested is actually, especially by the family members, to identify the evidence affirmatively. That means they want to see evidence in terms of the aircraft. That means they're still looking for the evidence of the aircraft. So that's why the search is actually has been, Datuk Sri mentioned, has been intensified to make sure that we can locate the aircraft.
On the part of the government, the Malaysian government, I attended cabinet this morning. Looking ahead, we have decided the Attorney General's office looks at all the legal implications apart from other decisions being made regarding the way forward.
Okay. Second row. Second last, please. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Dr. Sri. This is Lu from Singchu Daily. I have one question. It's regarding that we do understand due to the weather issue, the operations have been called off for twice for the past week. We would also understand the red box is going to running out of battery within 13 days. Do you see confidence within 1 month period we can manage to look for any debris, or especially the black box?
We will continue and we will not look back. As I said earlier, on the operational side, the Australian Maritime Safety Authority and the RCC is actually giving updates of weather conditions, sea conditions, sightings. That has been updated very frequently from Perth. Secondly, after the 30-day period is concerned, we are now looking at the possibility of deep sea surveillance, search and salvage. But as I keep reminding everybody, we've had an occasion with the Air France crash, which took nearly 2 years to find the black box. So we are working closely with them to see what sort of technology, apart from the towing, pinging locator and the vessel pinging locator that's already been deployed within the 30-day period.
Okay. Second row on the third lane itself. Yes, the lady, please. Could you stand up, please, and identify yourself?
Hi, Rosanna from NSD. Datuk Sri, about the satellite images. I just wanted to find out of all the satellite images, have you been able to determine whether these were all the same debris or different types of debris? And the other thing is about if it was flying, the plane was flying lower than expected and wasn't traveling as far, could it have been in the air all the way up till 8:11 a.m.?
I'll answer the first question. I've looked at all the satellite sightings and can confirm that they all happen to be located in the southwest of Perth, as announced by the Prime Minister a few days ago. So it's not so far off from what has been advised earlier. Secondly, we have been very consistent in focusing and making our efforts looking for the aircraft and narrowing the search area. So as we can see, as we moved from the South China Sea to the Straits of Malacca to the North and South Corridor, now the Southern Corridor, and now to the latest information that is available, I think the template that we have used in corroborating and verifying from all the different agencies have not been very far off from what has been announced earlier. So all the sightings I can confirm are located southwest of Perth, consistent with what we have announced earlier.
The challenge of the sighting by the aircraft, one, of course, the weather. If the weather is good, the aircraft able to fly to the area. Another one is the distance, 2,500 kilometers southwest of Perth. It's about 1,350 nautical miles. And for aircraft of P3 Orion, it takes about 3-4 hours just to reach to the area. And they're only about an hour or two to search an area, and they have to go back again, with the fuel they have. So that is another challenge they have, looking for the objects. That's a very challenging for those who are searching. But they have going there as best as they could.
Hujung third row.
Salam Dr. Sri, Asron daripada Tusan.
Ya,
satu soalan ya Dr. Sri pasal speed tadi. Sebelum ni kita dimaklumkan speed yang MH370 pada kadar 855 km/h. Apakah dengan penemuan speed yang baru ni masih lagi dalam range yang biasa bagi sebuah kapal terbang ataupun ada satu kelainan daripada speed tu? Dan kalau speed tu lebih laju, berapa anggaran sekarang?
Dia dalam speed kapal terbang ni, kita tengok juga berapa tingginya kapal terbang tu terbang. Dan kalau lagi tinggi kapal terbang tinggi, lagi kurang minyak digunakan. Jadi itu ketinggian dan juga speed itu diambil kira. Ini satu-satu matematik yang kuat kompleks lah dia pakai oleh Boeing untuk jangkau speed yang paling rendah yang dikalkulate oleh Boeing dan paling tinggi. Jadi kalau digunakan speed yang baru ni dengan minyak yang sedia ada di tempat yang possibility of the aircraft to be is utara pada apa yang dijangkakan sebelum ini, tapi masih lagi dalam koridor yang dikenal pasti sebelum ini. Itu yang masih lagi dalam koridor yang dikenal pasti.
Yang membanggakan juga, saya difahamkan bahawa unit teknikal untuk melihat kepada kompleksiti untuk mengenal pasti data-data yang saya dah umumkan tadi melibatkan pakar-pakar daripada beberapa negara. Dan senarai yang saya sebut tadi daripada United Kingdom, Inmarsat, AAIB dan Rolls-Royce. Daripada negara China, CAAC dengan AAID. Daripada US, NTSB, FAA dan Boeing. Mereka ini sekarang ini duduk semeja melihat kepada semua data yang ada, dan hanya apabila kita dapat verifikasi dan pengesahan daripada semua pihak ini baru kita umumkan data-data tersebut.
Okay, one last question from Malaysia. Okay, second row center.
Datuk Sri Sofia Ahmad dari Berita Harian. Sebelum ni Datuk Sri kata kita akan tetap meneruskan operasi mencari itu walaupun negara lain telah withdraw. Jadi Soalan saya, adakah kita mempunyai kemampuan dan peruntukan kewangan yang cukup untuk membiayai misi itu sekiranya negara lain telah menarik diri?
Setakat ni hari ini yang menarik diri pun bukan kerana mereka tak mahu meneruskan operasi mencari, tetapi lokasi di selatan koridor itu bukan semua negara mempunyai kapal-kapal atau pesawat yang boleh membantu mengesan debris yang sedia ada. Sebab itu saya nak mengatakan bahawa mereka telah menarik diri jauh sekali. Ini merupakan satu insiden yang telah melibatkan semua pihak dan kita terharu dan kagum dengan sokongan yang ditunjukkan oleh dunia sebenarnya, dan usaha untuk kita mengkoordinasikan SAR ini. Sebenarnya saya tidak nampak halangan dan kekangan langsung. Itu yang memberikan kita kekuatan dan semangat untuk meneruskan usaha ini. Dan untuk menjawab soalan tadi, itulah juga memberikan semangat kepada pasukan kita ni untuk terus menyatakan bahawa kita tak akan putus asa dan kita akan meneruskan usaha ni setakat mana yang kita mampu.
Okay, now we'll go to the international circuit. Sir, could you stand up and ask your question?
Good evening.
Good evening.
From the Sydney Morning Herald.
Hi.
Does the new calculations mean that the plane stayed high, that it never came down, as has been widely reported, that it stayed at the height it was at 32,000 feet, after it turned and went across the Malaysian peninsula to the point in the Malacca Straits?
The calculation is very complex, I would say that, and they took the point of aircraft where it was last sighted by our radar in the Straits of Malacca, and from there they calculated the aircraft, the way the aircraft. I'm not at liberty to tell you how the aircraft go, the path of the aircraft, but they have taken to so many considerations, the height at the aircraft. Been flown, the range of the aircraft with the fuel available in the aircraft and the speed of the aircraft. That's how they calculate it. Is what Boeing have come out with that performance of the aircraft, and that's the area that they have marked yesterday, and they sent it across to RCC Australia, the possibility of the aircraft at the area still in the corridor, as mentioned a week ago. I
just want to re-emphasize the fact that the technical part of it, with all the experts with us, that sort of information can be clarified to the press in due time. Our immediate urgency and our immediate focus is to try and get to the debris that has been sighted by the satellites, so that we can identify for sure that the debris that has been sighted really belong to the MH370. So as far as the SAR team is concerned, our focus is really still to get as many vessels and planes into the areas that have been sighted. And today's breaking news, identifying a specific area. I am quite sure the operational side of it from Perth will be focusing all their assets and capability to identify that debris.
Right. At the back, please.
Jeremy Grant from the Financial Times. Two quick questions. Hello. It's going to be about 3 weeks, exactly 3 weeks, in fact, tomorrow, since the police first went into the homes of the pilot and co-pilot, as you had informed us, I think, a week or so ago. 3 weeks is quite a long time by any measure. Can you tell us where we're at with the police investigation into the pilots? What have you ruled in? What have you ruled out? What have they told you? And what can you tell us about the potential role of the pilots in this incident, and indeed anyone else in the crew? Secondly, being 3 weeks since the incident, you've been criticised by a number of quarters, I mean Malaysia broadly, and you've also defended Malaysia's performance of the handling of this. Looking back over the last 3 years, what, if anything, would or could Malaysia have done differently?
I don't think we have done anything different from what we've already done. And I think, like I said in our earlier press conference, no matter what has been thrown and labeled at us, history will judge us as a country that has been very responsible. We have corroborated any evidence that we received. We have made sure that no stones are unturned, notwithstanding many speculation in the earlier stages in the Southeast Asia or in the Malacca Straits or in the social media. We have not distracted from our main focus, which is to identify the plane. If you can remember, Jeremy, from the early part of our search, nobody could ever imagine us looking for the plane in the Indian Ocean, where we are today. At that time, we were talking about plane landing in Nanning, the plane oil slicks in the South China Sea, sightings in the Straits of Malacca, going up north to the Nanaman. And Malaysia has been very consistent in not speculating on that unless we have evidence that has been corroborated and verified. So where we are today is based on a very consistent, transparent effort on our part, and maybe today with emotions running high and a lot of interest on this issue, people are getting clouded by what Malaysia has done. But I genuinely believe the SAR team from Malaysia and these three gentlemen up here have done and conducted ourselves fairly, responsibly, and history will judge us for that.
Okay. Please. Please. Your question, please.
Sorry, what was the second question, Jeremy?
Oh, sorry. Police. Oh, the police investigation.
Oh, the police investigation. Obviously, the IGP is not here with me. The next PC, I'll get him to come up, but I can confirm that he is working very closely with the international agencies. And also, just like the technical aspect, like I said, there are three challenges that we have to face. One is diplomatic, involving so many nations. And moving forward, that will be even more complex if we do find debris or other evidence that needs to be looked at. Secondly is the issue of logistics, and this is where the movement of assets and weather conditions is an issue. The third is the question of experts and evidence that is required. And like I said, just like the technical part of it, where we're working closely with Boeing, with FAA, with the Chinese agencies, believe you me, on the criminal aspect of it, the Malaysian Royal Police is also working very closely with the international agencies to get to the root of it. But I can get the IGP back on our PC to answer that particular question, Jeremy.
Okay, sir. Please.
Thank you. Lester from the Straits Times, Singapore. We understand that police investigations are still ongoing, but the question is for Encik Ahmad Johari. We'd just like to clarify for the record, do the pilots do the pilot and the co-pilot know each other before they got on that plane? And how long have they worked together before that? And thirdly, you have said before that they undergo psychological screening before they are admitted into Malaysian Airlines. Is that done on a yearly basis or only before they join Malaysian Airlines? Thanks.
Okay, as far as the pilot and co-pilot, they are rostered. We have a group of people, and there's an automatic rostering system that we use, and we try to roster them as efficient as possible. Not necessarily they need to know each other, okay, and that's the way we roster the people. So whether they know each other before this, like I said, we have a large community of pilots. They tend to know each other in their groups, and sometimes they don't know. There's thousands of them there. All right. Now, as far as the psychological tests is concerned, that's something that we do when we take new pilots on board, and something that we normally. Excuse me. Let me. That's something that we check yearly and 6 monthly, depending how old they are, on their medical renewal. And that's normally done through an interview with the aviation doctors.
Okay. First row, number 2, please.
Paula Hancock, CNN. Minister, could you explain the fresh analysis that has made this search area change? Has that given you fresh information about the path that the plane took and about the changes in altitude? Whether or not you can share them at this point, has it given you fresh information about what happened?
What's more important is how it has affected operational search and rescue in Perth. And obviously, as indicated and announced by the Australian search authorities, that is a good enough lead for them to make that focus today. I'm waiting and hoping that something positive comes out of it. But as regards whether that is more credible than the other 5 sightings, I treat them all equally important because they need to be verified and corroborated, and it can only be done by getting vessels and aircrafts into the areas last sighted. But all our efforts due to weather and sometimes even on a clear day where it was sighted before, the debris is no longer there. So there are challenges, but I treat all these sightings personally on the Malaysian side very as important. But on the operational side, of course, as Australia is taking the lead and as they're giving updates to the media very frequently about what is happening over on that side, I think it is their call.
Okay, Jiga.
You mentioned emotions are running high.
Yeah.
So do you think that if the police could reveal some information as to what possibly could have gone wrong with the plane diverting so far, that will address this problem with China?
If it could, I think the police would, but I think they will not do it just to ease emotions, because at the end of the day, we have to make sure that whatever information released not only does not affect the ongoing investigations, which is now taking an international perspective. Secondly, the emotions in dealing with the families is very complex. You cannot just look at it in just one particular aspect and expect everybody to just come down. These are loved ones, and like I said, I can fully understand because I have children, I have brothers, I have family members, and I can imagine what they're going through. But I just want to say to the Chinese families that it's not just them that's lost or looking for lost members. Malaysians also have lost family members, and 14 other nations have lost family members. And it is important for them not to listen to all speculative information that will make emotions run even higher. But at the same time, on the Malaysian government side and on the side of MAS, we will, together with the Chinese authorities, we are continuing to engage them.
Okay, one last question from the gentleman in front here. Thank you. Please, could you answer?
Danny, South China Morning Post. Can you just confirm that altitude was factored into this new analysis, which has now been handed over to Australia? And what more further refinement can we get in order to get closer to potential wreckage, which could be identified as MH370? And where are we with the 6th half ping that MRSAT detected a couple of days ago?
The refinement is ongoing, even as we speak. Our team, our working team down here, from the US team, from UK, from China, and the Malaysians, every day is working and being fed to Boeing, because Boeing know the performance of the aircraft, and they have been doing it even as we speak. And they are refining the calculations, the analysis, and they will come out with new leaps, hopefully, in a few days' time. So as we speak, they are still working, and they have informers. They will come out with new leaps as they come by.
I just want to conclude by saying that not just the technical sharing of data and experts, but the joint deployment of assets from so many nations, specific to certain areas and complexities. I think it is something that is purely unprecedented and has got everybody together working on something worthwhile, and has got the imagination of the world focused into something that I think is going to be very historic and probably going to change the aviation landscape in the future. There's lessons to be learned by everyone in this case, and if Malaysia can be just a small part of this process, I feel honored to be part and parcel of what is going on right now. But at the end of the day, for the families, the one question they really want to know is where are their loved ones? And the one question I want to know, where is MH370? And that is an ongoing process being aided by so many people out there, risking life and limb purely to find that particular answer, which I cannot, unfortunately, provide to you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media. That concludes the session for today.